I noticed and I was shocked to realize that I had actually developed a superpower. And that superpower was a superhuman ability to... In this video, I'll be sharing the lessons of mental toughness that I gained from completing the 75 Hard program. Here is a quick before and after of the third time that I completed this program. But I want to emphasize this is not about the physical gains. There are far more optimal programs if all you care about is physical health. There's plenty of evidence and research to suggest that rest periods are great for muscle growth and recovery, especially in people not taking performance enhancing drugs. In 75 Hard, there are 0 rest days and 0 rest periods. So it's more about the mental toughness gains that you make from doing it, and that is the reason why I did it in the first place. So what is 75 Hard? If you've never heard of it before, it's the first part of the Live Hard program that was put out by Andy Frisella. And it involves a list of tasks that must be performed every single day. And if you miss any of these tasks, you have to start again from day one. So these tasks include follow a diet, of which I personally chose a calorie deficit diet to lose fat. The second is 2 45-minute workouts, and one of these must be done outdoors. The third is take a progress picture. The fourth is drink 1 gallon of water, which equates to around 4.55 litres for my fellow Europeans. The next is 10 pages of reading, and the final rule is no alcohol or cheap meals. So each of these tasks on their own are not particularly challenging, but when you do all of them for 75 days in a row, it becomes an extremely difficult task to do that will develop your mental toughness. Lesson number 1, grit and discipline are perishable skills. So these are skills that we can develop if we don't have them already, but we can also lose them if we don't use them over time. It's the reason why I have personally done 75 Hard 3 times over the last 2 years, because I wanted to regain and rehone these skills. Number 2, and coming from a brain perspective, is neuroplasticity is vastly underrated. Neuroplasticity is our brain's ability to adapt and change in response to external stimulus and experience. And I learned this really hard when doing this program. Every day I would go on my outside run for 45 minutes, and oftentimes it would end up being at night when it was really dark, simply because it was how I could fit it in my schedule. So when I would be running in the dark, on the first day I got to a path where it was extremely dark because it was surrounded by really tall trees near where I was living at the time. And I ended up having to walk this part of the path because it was so dark I could barely see in front of me. But after around a month of continuously running in the dark, I noticed and I was shocked to realize that I had actually developed a superpower. And that superpower was a superhuman ability to see in the dark. So I was literally, that same really dark path, I was sprinting full pelt in the dark, and I could see so clearly in front of me. And it really blew my mind how powerful our brain's ability to adapt and change is. And our eyes are essentially just an extension of our brain because they're really close to it and attached through the optic nerve. The third lesson is our brain is a master at creating excuses. The human brain is mainly wired for comfort, so it will do everything in its power to gain pleasure and avoid pain. Our brain also knows us better than anyone else. It knows our past, it knows everything we've done and what emotional triggers it can use to get us from taking an action or avoiding an action. And for me, this was most apparent with the outside runs, because sometimes it would be raining really heavily, and there were times where I literally would have to go out in the thunderstorm in order to complete that task for the day. And it made me really realize that I can overcome that inner voice that tells you I can't do something and just do it anyway. I actually learned to love this feeling when you're in the outside in the rain and you're the only person around for miles doing any sort of exercise outside. And it gives you a tremendous amount of self-confidence, self-belief, and understanding that you are really pushing yourself to your maximum. And that is such a wonderful feeling and hard to put into words, to be honest. Which brings me on to my next point, which is self-confidence and self-belief are skills which can be developed as opposed to being fixed personality traits. So to develop confidence in yourself, It starts with developing competence, which is our skills and knowledge in that subject. So when we develop our competence, confidence follows as a result. It's actually incredibly easy to believe in yourself when you've built up a reputation with yourself over time of consistently doing the things that you have told yourself you're going to do and keeping the promises that you make to yourself. The fifth lesson is in the power of consistency. When you do a progress picture every day and you're looking in the mirror, you're not going to notice huge changes on a day-to-day basis. But if you compare day 0 to day 75, you're going to notice a big change. And it really emphasizes the power of consistency in gains and the effect of compound interest. Warren Buffett talks about how compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. And it also applies not only in investing but into health. When we consistently put effort into our health, the gains aren't linear, they're actually exponential. And this was super apparent during 75 Hard and completing this program. The sixth lesson, and this may offend some people, is that most people talk big, but they take very little action. And doing 75 Hard really teaches you that action, massive action, is what gets you all of the results. Not talking about it, not thinking about it, but actually doing it. And you can ask any of the tens of thousands of people who've completed this program by now, and they will tell you, you can see if someone has lied about completing the program or haven't, because the results are so obvious. You can literally see it in the physical results, and in what they say it's very obvious if they got anything mentally from it. My seventh lesson from the program is focus on one day at a time. Oftentimes when we look at our big, audacious, long-term goals, it can be incredibly overwhelming and like looking at Mount Everest that you have to climb. But the only way we're going to get there is by taking the first step. And in order to take the first step, we just have to focus on one foot at a time, one day at a time. And then the weeks, the months, the years will follow. If we really focus on today, we can get the most out of our brain and live to our maximum potential. Number 8 is small daily habits can have a massive impact on our mental health. So from my personal experience from doing the program is that these small habits like drinking water, eating healthily, on their own don't seem like much, but when you do them on a consistent basis, I personally notice a huge difference in my mental clarity, my ability to think clearly and ration clearly, especially as I wasn't drinking any alcohol, and I haven't drunk any alcohol for years now. And continuing with daily habits and mental health, I learned that focusing on doing things today that will make me proud of me tomorrow is incredibly strong for your mental health and mental well-being. And the 10th lesson was learning to trust my internal voice more. So when you develop a great self-reputation with yourself, when you actually keep those promises you make to yourself and do the daily habits you keep telling yourself you're going to do, you're no longer bullshitting yourself about these New Year's resolutions or other things you always tell yourself you're going to do. When you actually do the things you say you're going to do, you develop this incredible reputation with yourself and belief in yourself. So it helps you to really trust that internal voice more and stop caring about what other people or haters are saying about you and just do what you know you're supposed to do. If someone else were to continuously lie to you and consistently break promises they make to you, you will start to lose trust in that person. And it's no different when it comes to ourselves and trust in ourselves. So if you keep the promises that you make to yourself, you start to develop a really strong relationship with your self-talk, which is a great foundation for our brain and mental health. The next lesson is that discomfort is a blessing. Nothing about the 75 Hard program is easy, the clue is in the name. It's incredibly uncomfortable. And I learned from doing the program that we as humans, me as a person, learns and grows so much faster when we put ourselves in uncomfortable positions. So I learned to really appreciate feeling uncomfortable, and it gives me confidence that I know I'm learning and growing as a person. I personally learn a lot about myself every single time I do the program, and I think it's a great tool to develop self-awareness and self-honesty with oneself. And I've left the best to last, and that is motivation is unnecessary. Motivation feels wonderful, and it's great to get that feeling of being pumped up and motivated to go out and do things. but there will be times in your life where motivation isn't there, you don't feel like doing things, and that's where discipline takes over. So there were many times during the program where I really did not want to go out in the rain and work out, but I did it anyway, and that was because I developed the discipline to do it and developed that daily habit. And that's where discipline is more powerful than motivation. If you've completed the 75 Hard program, let me know what mental toughness lessons you learned in the comments below. Give this video a like, I would greatly appreciate that, and hit the subscribe button if you want to achieve better brain health. I'm putting out brain content, at least 2 videos a week. I've been doing that consistently for the past couple of months and will continue to do so throughout this year. So if you want to train your brain, then hit the subscribe button, don't forget to do that, and turn on the notification bells. Check out this video, which YouTube thinks is the best one for you on a brain related topic. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you guys in the next video.